What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? So we are back again for another episode review of Raising Kanan, Power Book 3, Season 4, episode. Girl, what episode this is? Hold on. Episode 6? This episode 6? Mind you, I'm so surprised because, usually we would have had a mid-season break by now. But I guess, because we haven't got there, I hope that means that we're getting more episodes this season. Okay? Because they said it's coming back next week, too. Listen, let's just get into it. The church is in mourning. Mourning. Let me tell you something. Unique, you got on my goddamn nerves. Okay? Like, for real, for real. For real, for real. Like, we are in mourning. You could have gave us a goddamn day, okay? Baby, they having the memorial service for Famous. And when we first see them, baby, you just see Kanan just standing there. He's so lost. He's so angry. He got all of the emotions. He's literally not there at certain points. You can just see it in his face. He's not there. Meanwhile, they take a drink and Pola out for the fame. Then you got this situation with Lulu. And I was just like, Lulu, please come back. Please come back. Like, I know you're trying to change your ways or whatever. You sober-minded. But, I mean, slide for fame for one time. Just one time. And he wants to. He wants to so bad. He was even talking to Rock about it. And, he don't want to backslide. But he like, this time, I'll make an exception, And then he see Jess, you know what I'm saying? His ex, fame sis. And she was over there. And, gave him a little hug and dug. And I said, you know what? Imani, I guess, I got kind of spoke a little bit too soon about you, boo-boo. Jess is in the picture, and at this point, I just feel like it's over and done with you. And I really do not want this lady to be vindictive as hell to him. Because, first of all, even though I was okay with them sleeping together because, they were a beautiful couple. But at the same time, you shouldn't sleep where you eat. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't sleep where you get paid. You shouldn't sleep with your co-workers and nothing like that. And especially when somebody got some, kind of a little bit of input on what you do. People can turn out and be a little vindictive. She could turn around and try to say you sexually harassed her, or Luke could say the same thing about her, or she could just be turning down everything or whatever just because he messed around with Jess. All right. Meanwhile, basically, this whole episode was about trying to find out who did what to Fame, okay? Girl, at this point, Juke ready to go. Kanan ready to go. And at this point, Kanan said, even if his mom, Fame's mom, knew who did what they did to him, she wouldn't have told Kanan because she would have known what Kanan, she already knew what Kanan would have did, which means would have went and got payback. And so, they trying not to do that. That's what they don't want to happen or whatever. But at the same time, you got Rock. Listen, Rock is just trying. Rock is not trying to overstep. Rock came over there to them. It's Crystal. It's what's her name? It's Juke, it's Crystal, and it's Kanan. And she came over and said, hey, how y'all doing? How you doing, Kanan? How you holding up? How the fuck you think I'm holding up? I said, hold on. You know what? I get it. Like, you see me struggling. You know what I'm saying? My best friend just died. My brother, okay? He just died. And not only did he just die, baby, he was tortured. We found out that man was tortured, okay? And you're going to come over here and you're going to ask me how I'm holding up. How the fuck you think I'm holding up? I feel like everybody wants to say that to people who ask them that. But they know for the most part the people that are asking them that are just trying to, start a little conversation, show a little concern, and just check on your well-being, even though they know that you are hurting. Because 9 out of 10, they're hurting too, okay? And, Fame used to be always up at the house, so everybody loved that boy, regardless of how much we thought he was corny and everything. Everybody loved Fame, and everybody won't get back for Fame, and that's basically what Kanan want to do. Now, let me tell you something, Unique. You going over there to Rosso, and he said that he got his army, you know what I'm saying? He ready to do the get back and all that. And he said, I got the people that you wanted me to get right. You told me to go get my stuff together. Come back when I'm organized. Come back when I got my own little, army with me. All I need you to do is front me the money and the people or something like that. He said, front you the money. So you want me to give you money so that you can make money? How the hell is this gonna benefit me? Okay, at this point, it was like you gotta come back when you assess the situation. You don't even know what's going on over there with Ryan. He said, I assessed the situation already. Ain't no more fucking assessing. I said, all right. You know what, Unique? I. He said it's time for fucking get back. I ain't doing nothing else. My mind is already set. I got the people that I need. He went out there to New Jersey to this dude named Akbar. Went and talked to him about getting some soldiers. Okay. And dude was like, why you trying to get some out here? And it was like, because everybody else out there in New York, they already soldiered up with whoever they soldiered up with. They crews and shit, right? And so dude was like, I got the people that you need or whatever, but it's going to come with a hefty price. And he said, you know what? I already got you. I got you. And so now it's time for Unique to make his appearance back. But before he can pop back on the scene, and I still want to know why you doing all this and doing all this shit for show and for play, Mr. Unique. Did you go see your son yet? It's 5:00 at night. Do you know where your children are? Do you? Okay. Like that's the whole time I'm thinking like that should have been your main priority, your first priority. All right. But he went down to the tailor shop, his old homie, you know what I'm saying? He said, listen, if I'm gonna pop out, I gotta pop out and show niggas. I said, all right. Kendrick. Well, Unique went over there. Excuse me. He went and got his hair did. He got a little tapered up. He got his little shave and everything. He got his jewelry. It was like these one-of-a-kind pieces. Which one do you want? All of them. I said, shit. Damn, Poppy. You got it like that. Give me a couple of pieces or whatever. And so, he has to go pop out. And Unique said, I got to come back like I ain't never left. And so that's just what he did. Meanwhile, you got Marvin and Rock going over there to David. Now, David is Terry's brother, okay? His younger brother. Them the two Asian guys that, they was working with. And Terry got popped last week by Marvin. Now, see, Rock told Marvin to go over there and talk to Terry, but don't do too much. Terry was talking too much junk and talking basically out the side of his neck, and he was just like, ain't no convincing him to stay. Okay, ain't no convincing him at this point to continue working with Rock. He won't out the business because, listen, my peoples are the one that's dropping. Your people not dropping. My people dropping. And every time we used to do this, we ain't never had no shit like this going on. And I told my brother I ain't want to do no stuff like this. So therefore we done with. And he was talking all mad junk and talking about something. He gonna go to the cops and everything like that. Girl, Marvin said, pop, pop, pop. I said, well, shit. Well, I said, damn, Marvin, you are very trigger happy, okay? Because this is like the second body that you didn't get in a couple of weeks when people told you to just go talk to him, And so they over there talking to David because now he's in charge. And David is such a key. First of all, he's on that stuff, all right? We saw him doing it. And they're trying to talk about how they're going to move the product and what's taking so long and all of this stuff. They trying to talk about the logistics of the operation. David is worried about what color do they want to paint the office that his brother used to stay in. Marvin yoked him up and he said, oh my God, you're so strong. I wish I would have known that before. I said, if I didn't know no better, David kind of like that, okay? David is into some things because, listen, last week, didn't he get yoked up by Marvin and he did it again? He talked about if we gonna do this right, we gotta make my people, kick it with your people. We gotta be on the same page. Let's have a mixer. And that's what really set Marvin off. But at the same time, yeah, it's gonna be something. Even Rock was telling Marvin, like, damn, I know I told you to go tune up Terry, but I ain't say be so goddamn heavy handed to take his ass out. Now we gotta deal with Asian Martha Stewart up in this bitch. When she said that shit, I fell the fuck out. Okay? Because at this point, they just everything is just falling apart. Everything seems like it's falling apart, right? But then we see that Rock is having a meeting because remember the guy from Afghanistan who got the poppy fields in Afghanistan, what they use, I guess, to make the and all that other stuff. It's poppy used to make cocaine or heroin. Which one? The drugs, okay? There it is. But I don't know nothing about those things, okay? That's just not my industry. I know I don't know nothing about that. I really don't. I'm too scared. But she was like, yeah, so I'ma meet you. He did want to see her boss or whatever, which was Stefano. Make sure his people and they people was all on the same page, and you're not trying to do no funny shit behind his back, and I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes or whatever. And that's just basically what it was. Stefano took a vouch for Rocks or whatever. Rock, okay? Shout out to Rocks. Vouched for her and talked about the territories and how they're expanding and how he takes over Queens and, he got places here in this borough, and then we can do it in other places and all this stuff, whatever. And he was like, okay, cool. Now, see, if we're going to do this, I'm going to have to get some manufacturer, infrastructure. I got to set this up. It's going to probably take about 2 or 3 weeks. Rock said, okay, that's cool or whatever, but here's my number right here, and I ain't going no higher. This is the ceiling, okay? And he said, well, damn, bitch, I said, now hold on. She said, that ain't my problem. He said, what about the infrastructure? She said, again, that's not my problem. This is what is going to happen, and this is what I'm giving. Nothing less, nothing more. Baby, he was looking at her like, ain't this about a bitch? Stefano said, see, this is why we can't do business with business. This is why we don't like women up in the business room, in the boardroom, because look how she is. Very shrewd with it, okay? Like, straight to the point, And oh boy said, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. And so we got that connected, right? Meanwhile, we got Kanan who is coming over to his place, his old place where he does business at now. And you got OC on the phone and, I just don't trust him no more. Okay. Because at first it's like, maybe he was doing all of this stuff because, Unique called him up, whatever, and basically probably threatened him. So now you got to get information back and fun of that or whatever. But at the same time, you could have told him. You could have told Kanan what happened. But you decided not to, and you decided to let yourself get punked or used by Unique. And at this point, I feel like he's doing it on purpose. And he probably now trying to make it, he probably going to justify it by feeling some type of way because, oh, I don't like the way that you be talking to me now. But the nigga brother just died, okay? His boy just died, right? So Kanan is just like, fuck all this other stuff. Did y'all get the information about who took him out, took Kanan Famous out? That's what I want to know, okay? Make everybody aware it's going to be some money out there for the person who gives me the name, okay? That's the priority at this point. Meanwhile, Kanan had went and put some money back up in his, chest out there at the storage. And who followed him? OC. And see, this is why I don't know if he just doing it because Unique is making him doing it, or he doing it because he don't fuck with Kanan like that and he a double agent at this point. Because something about that, the way he was sitting up in that car, and the way he was sitting in the car, he was just like, it looked like he was ready. Like, yeah, I got this motherfucker. That's what it was feeling like, okay? And I'm like, where the beef come in at? And I don't know, like, little OC, you and your allergies, I just can't trust right now. I don't know what's up with you. I thought we could, but I guess we can't. Meanwhile, you got Lulu over there at an Alcohol Anonymous. telling them that, he's still sober, but he lost a friend and he want to drink. And he's like, what if I can't drink? And, if I would have been drinking right now, I would have did some things that I shouldn't do because I did a whole lot of messed up shit in the past and I don't want to revert back to that. But it's like, who the fuck am I if I can't do that? And I said, you're low. You're low, okay? Stand the fuck up. You don't need no drink. You know what I'm saying? You good. Meanwhile, that scene with Juke, I really like. Juke is so goddamn hard. And we kind of seeing how her character is coming into form a little bit when it comes to how she was when we saw her first on the original Power, right? She was so hardcore, you know what I'm saying? She showed no emotions. Even when she was sitting there at the table and she saw the picture in the obituary of Famous, I'm sitting here like, oh, she about to cry. She about to break. She about to break. No. She just got a little upset. She found her daddy gun underneath the couch cover, couch seat or whatever. And she went into a little abandoned building, started shooting some, bottles, doing a little bit of target practice to get her little, frustration off and all that stuff. Of course, Marvin got upset because, she done took the gun. And at this point, he like, what the hell is going on with you? Is it the army that's making you like this? Is it the fact that you popped old boy? What is happening? And she said, it's everything. Me being back, everything that's happening. Famous, all of that. And he said, I told you it was going to sneak up on you. I told you wasn't going to be okay with it. And basically, I don't think Marvin is getting a point with Juke. Excuse me. It's not that she's not okay with what she did. She's okay with what she did. It's just that she's coming into learning this is really who she was and has been all this time, and she's been suppressing it. And Marvin is coming to the realization that I got something to do with this. I have something to do with this, because she was like, I'm you me. I mean, we the same, right? And he was like, nah, I don't want you to be me though. I don't want you to be me. I don't want you to do anything that I've been doing. It's like I cannot understand, how do you have children and you show them this lifestyle that you are living, right? And it's not the best, okay? You're living a street illegal lifestyle, right? You're not keeping anything from them. The kids know what you're doing. And yet you want them to not do and follow in your footsteps, but yet you're doing it right in front of them. And you're not making it a secret that this is not what you do. You're not trying to hide it. Baby, what? That don't make no sense. So you shouldn't be surprised if you a killer and that your kid want to turn out to be one. Like, come on. What do you expect? All right, it's a cycle. It's a whole cycle that you are partaking in. So you can't be surprised if your kid wanted to partake in it. And at this point, Juke is becoming desensitized. All right, and I need her to get a little bit of therapy, okay? Because she more in it than Kanan, if you ask me. Because that scene at the end, I said, whoo, you was ready to pop one of them. Okay, when she put that thing to her head, she was like this. I said, oh, you ready to do something. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I just can't wait to get to the point where she decided to get on the police force herself. Is this the tipping point where she's going to try to infiltrate the police force like she did? Because she was a bad cop. That's what she was, okay? She was crooked. But yeah, so, even then, when Marvin was giving her that speech, it was looking like he was trying to have a heart-to-heart with her, right? And I appreciate it. And I'm thinking Juke gonna break. Juke is I'm looking at her face and I'm thinking that she about to cry, whatever. It never happened. I said, damn, Juke, even Kanan cried. When you gonna cry? When I cry, you cry, we cry together, baby. What's going on? Meanwhile, this scene with Detective Garcia and Famous Mama, it really pissed me off. This woman just lost her son. Well, actually, she been lost her son. She been came to you to try to help. And you are up here badgering her and not even allowing her to grieve the death of her child, her only son, her baby boy. And You're trying to figure out what she know and if she know anybody that could possibly want him dead and all this stuff. And was like, and then gonna try to question her motherhood and say, what type of mother are you? And all this stuff. And she said, I know the fuck you not talking. You trying to say what type of person am I am about my son when I came to your ass, to try to help and see what the hell was going on and where my son was at. And when I came to you, you turned me away. So what the fuck are you talking about? No, you're not going to guilt trip me and throw out there like, oh, he was about to snitch on some police, or he was helping he was finna turn himself into the NYPD, or he was working with the NYPD or whatever. No, bitch, you think I care about that? Absolutely the fuck not. Get your ass up out of here. Okay? I said, damn, Garcia, you just lack all of the fucking tact. And you know what, Figueroa, okay, Garcia, baby, at this point, remember what we say, all skin folk ain't kin folk. And I guess it's true with them too. I said, ain't that about a bitch? That's your brethren. Your mama would be so disappointed in you, Garcia. But anyway, speaking of mamas, Lou go over there to his mama house. She wound up telling him she wanted Marvin to take her out, but he too much of a coward. I said he a coward because he didn't want to take his mama out, and then gonna say something. I didn't want to tell you because you sensitive. I didn't want to tell Rock because she hard. I said, well, damn, bitch, you should have went on ahead and you should have told Rock, because Rock would have did it with no hesitation. That's what you want. Here, give me the needle, and she would have been out, in and out in less than a minute. But you gonna tell you want somebody to, do something for you, but you gonna insult them at the same time. And Lou said, baby, I can't do that. And I get what the mama was saying. She was mad. She was upset in her feelings too, and I feel like that's probably what a lot of people feel when they get to that point. Like, why is it happening to me? And how come I'm not, like when she said, I'm angry at the fact that I'm dying. I'm angry at the fact that nobody told me it was going to be like this. I'm angry at the fact that other people, left or still here and all this stuff. Yeah, you go through that. But to go down the line and to still be talking junk about your kid, I should have, could somebody just give her the goddamn vial of the what is it, the morphine? Girl, if that's the case, here it is. Sit it in the bed next to her and let her do it herself, okay? And baby, just put it inside the artery. Or put an air. Matter of fact, you ain't even gotta do that, girl. Pop your vein now and just put an air bubble in there. You ain't even gotta put no medicine up in there. Just put an air bubble in there. Like, if you want to go so bad, just tell them to put it on the bed and then say, bitch, I did it. Okay? That's just what I would have did for. All right, But then back over to Kanan, we get that, he do get some of the his people, including OC. Let's see, I should have said, which now we should think about and feel like, did he tell them to say that? Or was he the one putting that information out there that it was get back? The people that did this was get back for the guy that Famous had, killed, right? In that hallway. And so they told him that, told Kanan that, and Kanan was like, bet. Good information. I said, oh, okay. Kanan trying to keep this thick ass, drawn ass, over exaggerated ass accent and be mad as fuck with it too. I was like, oh, okay. This is so funny. But then you got that, so of course he ready to do what he got to do. Lou up in the studio with B-Rilla, telling his ass, quit rapping about the same shit, bitch. Lou is in his feelings, so he don't want his friend just died. He was tortured. We found out that he was tortured for a long time. That's what happened to Famous. He wasn't just killed, he was tortured. So, we got to figure out what's going on with that. But then you got Lou in the studio with B-Rilla talking about the street life and all that stuff. At this point, Lou don't want to hear that. He like, everything sounds familiar, meaning everything sounds the goddamn same. Can you go a little bit deeper? B Rilla snapped on him like, nigga, you got me out of jail because you like my lyrics and you like my flow, whatever. Now you want to say I need to put some metaphors and be some allegories and whatever. Bitch, what he trying to say is step that shit up, because you're going to get in one of those modes where you're going to put something out and then you're going to keep on sounding the same and wonder why the people don't really want to fuck with it because I heard it once before. All right? That's what he's trying to tell you. But at the same time, Lou was in his feelings, right? And at this point, I don't know. I can't remember what B Rilla said to him, but Lou got pissed and Lou said, I'm going to leave the studio before I do something that I can't take back. And he was like, you ain't finna do nothing. What you gonna do? He was like, you wouldn't want me to. I said, oh, you know what, Lou? It's trying to come out, but he keeping it in. He go over there to a bar. At the bar, he got a drink in front of him, just staring at it. Next thing you know, we see Jess come up in there. And, you know, he just like, I didn't drink it, but I want to so bad. He keep on thinking about Famous. He loved Famous, okay? And he was like, get me out of here. You want to leave? I said, well, y'all finna go have sex. And so they went back to they went to the studio. And they was listening to some music or whatever. And he was like, I don't even feel like listening to this shit right now. Okay? Like, I still can't stop thinking about Famous and everything. Like, I really want to go out there and I want to fuck niggas up. And she was like, you don't need to do that, Lou. You don't need to do that, Lou. She said, you know what? How about you do something different? Let me make you feel different. She got up and she kissed that nigga. And I said, okay. Now, did he catch her fucking what's his name? Camacho up in the studio. Now you finna fuck him in the studio. Okay. Meanwhile, after they get through doing what they was doing, Imani had came up in the studio, and I was wondering this whole episode, like, where the fuck Imani at? She finally came up in the studio, asking him how he doing and all that stuff. After talking about, she just, I don't know, my nigga. Even if I just fucked him and we ain't really put no title on it, I give a care about him. Like, I would have been like, oh my God, how you're doing? I would have been all up in his face. You know what I'm saying? My partner or whatever, let them know that I'm here regardless of what our relationship is. But she wound up over there seeing, she said, what is that? Who are those? It was some earrings over there, right? That's what I saw at first. He looked over there. He said, "They ain't mine." So she went over there, and then it was a necklace that said Jess. She was like, "You're fucking your ex-girlfriend, Jess?" She was up in here. I said, "Yeah, bitch, put two and two together. What do you choose?" Like, y'all ain't put nothing on this. Just because you asked if he was still dealing with her last week because y'all had sex that one time and you gave it up like that, baby, y'all are not exclusive, okay? That is not your man. That is not your man, all right? And she just left out. Lou said, okay. Lou went over there to Jess' house, Jess' mama house, and, talked to Jess, and basically mama gonna move out there to LA with her. Jess wanted him to come out there, and he was like, you always going and I'm always staying. And she was like, you don't have to be like that, Lou. You can come out to and experience all of the immense possibilities out there, opportunities and everything. But, that was beating a dead horse. Y'all know Lou is not going to leave New York. Not at this point, not at this time. And so, they hugged, kissed, and that was the last that we saw of Jess. I guess Jess going back to LA with her moms, okay? Marvin came over there to the mom's house and, he left. That's just what it was. Kanan, he peeped out the crew. These boys, mind you, they're boys, okay? I'm thinking they were men. Baby, they look like they couldn't be no older than 16, 17 years old. Okay, I said, these the ones that did it? I don't think so. I mean, granted, it's a possibility, okay? But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And so before he could do anything, he saw one of them had a gap in his pants or whatever. So he just went on ahead and drove off because he was like, nah, this ain't the plan. But at the same time, we got Rock going over there to Kanan place trying to talk to him and see how he doing, but Crystal was there and she said keep an eye on him because he not in his right mind right now, whatever. And so that was that. Meanwhile, when Kanan finally came home, she was like, your mom came over here. She said keep an eye on you, but you know, he didn't do anything. He was like, let's go to bed. I said, all right. What we finna do? I felt so bad for Kanan. Like, bitch, I ain't never feel bad. For the last season and a half, I did not feel bad for Kanan. I really did it because Kanan was just the asshole. He was just doing a lot. But, you know, he got a little, he touched me. Because he showed a little emotion. And I know his conscience is beating his ass. That's why he going through all of this motion because remember the last time he had any real interaction with Famous, besides seeing him up on that stage doing his thing, he was an asshole to him. That's basically what it was. He was an asshole to him. He basically, the way that he kicks him out his own place, that place that he's using as a drug den, that was Famous place, and he kicked him out of that. Like, Famous name is on the lease. Like, are you serious? So, yeah, I know he feeling it. I know he just feeling it. Meanwhile, you got Rock over there still trying to secure her Asian connection. And, oh, boy, the older gentleman, he was like, yeah, I'm going to keep on rocking with you because I'm scared. But, you know, y'all got to tighten this shit up. She was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's going to be all to the good. Meanwhile, Marvin go check in with Early. Early got issues with the peoples trying to collect the money or whatever. But he said, nigga, that ain't my problem. That's your job, so you figure it out. Then Kanan came over there to Juke place and was like, yo, you for real about that? And was like, oh, yeah, I am. Because Juke said, yo, whenever you ready to get paid back for you found out who did that shit to Famous, let me know, because I want in. Baby, they got up in that car. They followed them boys to the what was they playing? Basketball. And they was like, it's 4. I know they probably got straps on them, but they probably got them in a coat. So it's 2 of us, 4 of them, and they ain't probably got their stuff on them because it's going to be on the coat. The coats are hanging on the fist. So it's like, you know what? Get out the car. I'm going to distract them. You go up over the far right. I'm going to go right in front and I'm going to distract. Baby, at this point, Juke calling all the plays, okay? She walked up over there. You know, she in her black and her blue, her navy blue, and her Timbs, okay? And her Carhartt. I said, oh, shit, you down to business, bitch. With her cornrow. She came over there and she said, pop. They was like, goddamn, bitch, what the fuck? He was like, get the fuck down on the ground. So you little motherfuckers got something to do with Famous? Y'all got something to do with Famous? No, we ain't do nothing to Famous. Pop! Damn, Juke, you know how we be out here. We don't do that. You know, even after all the stuff that we went through, girl, we ain't do no shit like that. And it was like, over that nigga, you know that motherfucker was fucking with us. We ain't been fucking with that nigga either. So the dude, allegedly, that Famous, you know, took out this world, they thinking that they did that on behalf of, you know, him. Come to find out, they said, nah, nigga, he was fucking us over too. We ain't fuck with that nigga, so we ain't give a damn. And then basically what they got out of them was what they heard from some nigga in the barbershop that allegedly Famous was about to start snitching on some, he had some information about some dirty cops. And it's a possibility that some dirty cops or some shit or whatever got word of it, that he was about to start naming names or whatever, and they took his ass out. And see, at this point, Juke wasn't having it. Juke was like, what? Get the fuck, how am I supposed to believe that? And at this point, Kanan came up there was like, yo, Juke, I think they probably telling the truth. It was like, what, how the fuck you know that? And at this point, that's where Juke went. Juke was like, ain't this about a bitch? I was ready to shoot a nigga. I said, well, calm down, baby girl, calm down. You get to live and shoot another day, okay? But for real, when we get the right person. And she yoked up one of them, put that thing to his neck and said, if I find out that you lying, I'm going to find your peoples. And I'm going to take care of them. I said, Juke, I really wasn't threatened by that. But you coming into your own, you got to work on that. You got to work on that. It was a little psychotic, but, you know, Welcome to the family. Okay. She was in the family business, bitch. At one point, Katie was looking at her like, huh, where the fuck this bitch been at? I said, yeah, she been. He said, you from the army? Everybody want to blame the army. No, it's just been there. We got B Rilla, right? He go over there to his baby mama house, though, drop off some Pampers. She said, listen, you can't just be dropping off Pampers without no money. I ain't trying to be out here and be no single mommy and all this stuff, whatever. He's like, I'm trying. She said, I know you trying. That's why I'm not arguing with you. I'm talking to you calmly. I know what you can do. He said, I'm trying, though. She was like, all right. Next thing you know, he go over to this dude shop, this African shop, and his name Kenyatta, and told him he got a lick to go get. I said, who we finna rob? You literally just got out of jail for robbing niggas. That's what he was in jail for in the first place. When Lou came and got him for robbery, for burglary. You wanna know who finna get? He finna go get the head of the niggas are so dumb. He is about to rob Lowell, the head of the goddamn record company. Now I'm thinking back to when he came up in there with Lou and they was asking for money. And Lowell went on ahead and did all that whole speech about the Jews and how they don't trust the banks and they put the money under the mattress. And even now he still do the same thing. And I said, God damn. I said, I know B really didn't take that shit serious. I say, B really, please stop playing. Okay? Stop it. Meanwhile, at this point, at the very end of the episode, y'all, they left us with a little slight gag. Okay. Rock came home, right? She go in the kitchen. No, she went into the dining room or whatever. Then she walked into the kitchen. Turned that light on. That's how she was looking like, what the fuck? Girl, Unique's over there eating her ice cream. You know you ain't wrong about that butter pecan. I said, oh my God. You, first of all, what? Second of all, put my shit back up in the freezer. Okay, I didn't buy that for you. Mind you, he kept on getting so upset when Russo was calling Rock his girlfriend. That bitch ain't my girlfriend. I said, yeah, it is. You wouldn't be going through all this if you still didn't have no feelings for that lady. You would have been took her out. Because even Russo said, don't take nobody out. If you're going to do this, you got to do it fucking smart. Okay? Nobody's yet. That was the episode, y'all. Y'all tell me how y'all felt about it. Y'all tell me what y'all think gonna happen. Like, are we getting extra episodes? I'm only asking this because, again, how many episodes have we been getting? We've been getting like 10 episodes, right? Yeah, 10 episodes a season, and it'd be like the 5th episode, then we get a mid-season break, and maybe because we came back later than we usually do, I guess, we're not getting a mid-season break, but are we still just getting a 10 episode? Baby, give us 12 at this point. Give us 12, okay? Shake it up. But y'all tell me how y'all feel about it, and I will see you guys later. I pray y'all have a good weekend. Be safe. Peace.